welcome to the board with Chris and Foxy.
I'm Chris.
And I'm Foxy. And this is a fun little show about connecting the facts and trivia between various media types, the celebrities therein, and the storylines. And stuff, and other things. Well, shall we start, Chris?
Well, I actually have a list here, and for our first little encounter, I was thinking of actually talking about us.
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Because nobody knows who we are.
I guess.
Nobody knows who we are.
Yeah, let's just talk about us for a little bit. I'm Chris.
Wait, do you mean like us or us individuals?
Yes.
Okay.
I was just gonna start off. I'm Chris. I'm 30-something years old. I'm actually an Army brat. I've lived all over the Western Hemisphere. Everything from Ohio, Arizona, Missouri, Kansas, Pennsylvania, even over in Germany. Got a family, wife, couple kids, well, 3 of them, and a pet. And I've known Foxy since I've been about, 16, 17, and I've met her once.
Yes, all of once. Well, in person.
In person. Once.
I guess it's my turn then.
Yeah.
I'm Foxy, of a mysterious age that shall remain unsaid. I live in Rhode Island, USA, and have not spread myself very far from there. I've only ever lived in Massachusetts as another state, so I am not as well-traveled as my counterpart. I have a home here in Rhode Island and family and many, many birds, so many birds and cats. Yeah, don't ask me how they get along. It's interesting. It's like a zoo, and much like zoos, you must keep everything carefully monitored and separate. But one thing we have in common is our love for medias and movies and television and magazines
random ass facts that
books.
No one else cares about.
Random facts when you spend so much time reading fun, different conspiracies and behind the scenes. Oh, I love behind the scenes stuff. Anything about behind the scenes stuff is like my favorite.
And I just absorb random information as a daily diet. At one point, I actually think I was so poor, I ate trivia.
You ate trivia?
Yeah, it was delicious. You put a little salt on that stuff.
Is that like Trivial Pursuit?
No, cardboard doesn't digest well.
Little gamey. Well, there's your giggle.
Yeah, see, no, they exist. They exist. Don't edit them out.
I won't.
But I've got a list here of something straight out of getting to know each other lists here. Top 5 lists, basically a bunch of top 5 lists that we can list out and make fun of each other for. And got a couple here on books, action movies, non-action movies, songs.
Those exist? What?
Yes, they do.
Non-action movies? You mean like drama, that drama stuff?
No, comedies can qualify for non-action.
What about Jackie Chan? He's both.
Well, you can have an action comedy, but that would still qualify for action.
Oh, gotcha.
Life experiences, places to still visit.
Oh,
I figured that would actually be interesting for both of us, as one of us has traveled a lot and one of us hasn't. And that kind of stuff. You can check out the list over on our board. Foxy, not you, listeners.
Yes, I'm looking at the list.
Yes.
We have a board for the board.
Of course, we have the board. It's on the board.
Yeah, it's on the board.
Yeah, so there you go. Okay, so first one I got on here is the first book, top 5 books. It can be fiction or nonfiction.
Boy.
No particular order. You don't have to rank them. Just like your top 5 books.
I'm trying to think of 5 books I've read. I'm not as well read as you may be. I am read. I mean, I had to read in school and stuff. Okay, here's a Here's one from college that actually has stuck with me so long. I'm not telling you how long ago college was, but I did
It was
read
a
it.
while ago, I'm
Shut
just
up.
saying.
Nobody is asking you. Um, it was called Ishmael by, I think, Daniel Brown.
Hmm.
And it is a book that impacted me so hard that I still have a paperback copy of it sitting on my bureau in my bedroom to this day.
Well, why don't you tell the group of the synopsis?
The synopsis? Now you sound
Yes,
like you're
which
from
is,
Rhode Island again.
you know, well, I hang out with a bunch of you.
Synapse.
Synapse?
Synapse are
That's a
the,
brain part.
yeah, synapse is the connections in your brain. A synopsis, on the other hand.
Synopsis. Hey, there's the big word I was looking for. We're gonna
Okay,
edit that part. I tell you what.
maybe. So
Could you give us a synopsis?
I sure can. So it very basically starts with a man who reads an art, not an article, but like an advertisement in a newspaper, and it says teacher seeking student and nothing more than an address. And he thinks that that is the most pretentious thing he's ever read. He was obviously a wicked Ravenclaw, that he decided he had to go and see what this was all about. He gets to this place. It's a nondescript building that's like on the 5th floor, said building. He gets there. It's an empty room, nothing in it except a mirror. He goes and he looks in the mirror, thinking this is absolutely preposterous. Why did I bother going here? When he's startled to find another pair of eyes staring back at him through the mirror. And it turns out, when you go towards the right angle of light, there is a gorilla, full-blown, full-grown silverback African gorilla, nibbling on bamboo, just calmly nibbling on bamboo and staring at him. And it proceeds to be a lesson of how mankind has evolved, with the story starting with like a story of Adam and Eve, but how that was so metaphorical about the takers and the givers, how humans were givers, or lived in balance with the environment as animals, essentially, when they, before like real society started to come into play, when they were nomads and hunter-gatherers.
Right.
And then moves on and then when they started to establish themselves and start to develop their technology and start to
Be human.
reap the world of its resources and start destroying the world.
Be human.
Be human, I guess. Where the way that they evolved turned them away from nature, and they've lost they've lost that connection that they had with nature and balance. And
I almost started singing "Loving Feeling" there, so you got to be careful with your hesitation.
Sorry. But I haven't read the book in a long time, but even still now I very clearly remember several of the lessons and like homework assignments that this guy gets from this gorilla. I mean, the premise of it is absurd, but the content was very eye-opening. I read this book when I was in what was the class? Zen. It was a class about Zen. And that is where I read this book. And it was very, not life-altering, but eye-opening.
Huh. Well, shoot, that kind of blows my mind out of the water. Well, no, see, what I was going to go with, it's one of my favorite books. I've read it multiple times. It's a nonfiction book. And it is an incredibly good book, but it's fairly well read. Most people in the know have read it. It's the Sun Tzu, or The Art of War, which is an amazing book written very, very long ago by a probably existed guy named Sun Tzu.
Mm-hmm.
In Chinese dynasty period, way long ago. And a lot of people read it. I mean, it's still taught at West Point. It's taught in most military academies. Most business colleges teach it too, because you can use a bunch of their techniques in business, cutthroat business things. And I really like it. I mean, to go over it is to go over a lot of cultural things within Chinese, ancient Chinese history, and also it's one of the first books that actually goes into the psychology of the human mind, what it takes for a human, it's man, a warrior, to fight to the death.
Human
Why
man.
would someone fight to the death? Why would you run? What's the best time to attack a person? What's the best kind of attack to do?
Oh, like
That
a
kind of thing.
psychological
Yeah,
warfare. Getting into your
all
enemy's mind.
all warfare is psychological.
Well, I mean, except the
You
blowing up
can,
shit stuff.
well, blowing shit up is psychological. I
It can
mean,
affect you psychologically, I suppose. That's true.
that's what World War One was about. World War One, especially with the trench warfare, was all about,
Shock and
you
awe.
yeah, shell shock, literal thing. You
Yeah.
shell the enemy until they're completely blazed out of their minds with fear and all that, and then you run your soldiers over mines and stuff, and hope to God that they're not as shell shocked as the other people.
So here's a fun fact. I don't recall having ever read The Art of War, but I do remember it being referenced in Battleship.
That movie, I have always wanted to see Battleship.
It is so good. It's so bad it's good, and so good it's bad.
I love B movies.
Oh yeah,
so yeah, I think at one point they do a Tokyo drift with a battleship.
Yes, they in fact do a Tokyo drift with a battleship.
And that's how I know that eventually I will see it.
It's wild. And they are doing they're out for drills with other countries. But they have like this like social event just beforehand so that they can like play volleyball against each other or whatever. I think they did the similar
Does
thing.
anybody check their watch while flexing?
I don't know. I
Minus
haven't
5 points.
I'll have to check it and maybe I'll watch it tonight. But it's
that was a Top Gun reference. If anyone didn't get that one, well, you're not the only one here. Hopefully.
Sorry, guys. So yeah, and then they go out and they end up eventually, I'm not going to say how or why, but they end up together on like the same ship, and it was like some Chinese and some Americans, and
white dude,
white dude, and he's like references The Art of War, get in their head, yes, and the Chinese guy's like, no, I wasn't referencing that at all, and that's the only time I can remember hearing The Art of War because I've never read it.
Well, I could even go into which translation I prefer because I've read a couple, but that is pretentious beyond belief. So let's go into your next.
Wait for Twitter and Facebook, and you can have that discussion offline.
Oh my gosh. Let's just put in this. Back when I attempted college, all 7 years of it, I was a history major, and so I read a bunch of books like that.
I thought you were just going to say I read a book.
Yeah, I read a book. It was just a book.
It was the book. It was the book of history. It was the history book. It was the history of the world, part 1.
Yes, actually, no. It was the old meme video. So this is how the world was created, I guess.
Gotcha.
Right. Your turn.
Okay. What other books have I read?
Well, if you can't reach 5, just tell me, because I could reach 5. I just reached it.
I also didn't come prepared, so this is on the spot. Okay, let me think. I had a long stint for a while of being really obsessed with Stephen King. I didn't read a lot of his work, but I read some stuff that had already been produced into movies because I was curious. I'd seen the movie first, and I always hear the book is better. So, after I'd seen The Green Mile several times, I decided I wanted to read the book. And of course it was better, but it was also like, it was parts of it, and I mean, it's Stephen King, right? Parts of it were really disturbing to me that still sit with me to this day. Such as the electrocution of, I can't remember his name, the little Cajun guy.
Barking up the long tree here. I hate Stephen King.
Really? You don't like Stephen King at all?
I hate Stephen King.
Well, I'm not saying I love or hate him. I just had a time in my life that I decided I wanted to read some Stephen King books because
there's nothing wrong with that. It's just not my cup of lukewarm tea.
It's a date. I'll
Besides,
remember it.
you're in that area. He writes, New England.
This is true. This is true. But anyways, that one sat with me for a while. Like just some of the detail that would happen in it, and it's like one of those morbid curiosity sort of things. If you see a car accident and everybody rubbernecks, because even though you shouldn't look, you kind of want to.
Right.
That's the position that I feel like Stephen King books put you in. It's like such a human feeling. So how about you? Book number 2.
Oh, well, I still have to commentary. No, I did comment on.
Hey, you commented quite a bit.
Yeah.
About how much you hate Stephen King. We're sorry, Stephen. It's not. It's him, not you.
You're a prolific millionaire, and I'm going to leave it at that.
There you go. Hey everyone. Thanks again so much for joining us. We're going to take a quick break to talk about something not media related because we gots to pay the bills. I want to tell you about the best stainless steel insulated water bottle on the market. Coldest water bottles were rated the best water bottle in 2017, 18, and 19 by Business Insider. They keep your drinks cold for up to 36 hours. They have over 8,000 plus verified reviews and counting. Your new water bottle ships the same day, and there is no hassle for returns. Their water bottles are true double stainless steel walls engineered like no other. It'll even float in the pool beside you while you catch those rays. These water bottles are guaranteed never to sweat, are BPA free and odor resistant. They have varying sizes from a 12-ounce children's size all the way up to a gallon. Go check them out at our exclusive On The Board link at https://thecoldestwater.com?ref equals on the board. That's https://thecoldestwater.com?ref equals on the board. Thanks again so much for listening to On The Board. Don't forget to tweet at us at OnTheBoardCast, and also get the word out there because we depend on you to take that red string and run. Throw a tweet out there with our hashtag #GetOnTheBoard and tell everyone what weirdo goose they need to listen to find out all of the fun facts and trivia they've been missing out on. We're going to get back to the show now, but stay tuned after the outro music for some fun outtakes because who doesn't love a good outtakes reel? See you then.
Let's see here. Well, I would have to then go to one of my favorite authors, and I'm only going to put one of his books on here. And it's actually a toss-up between two, but I'm going to go with Heinlein is the author I'm speaking of, and I'm going with Space Cadet.
Okay.
And Space Cadet is...
I've read this, I think.
You read? I think I even gave you my copy.
Yeah, I think I've read this.
Space Cadet is one of his young adult books. Gene Roddenberry, some guy that started some TV series that may have spawned something that have literally changed the world. It credits it as one of the inspirations for Star Trek.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about a young man who joins this interplanetary service, solar system, our solar system, that basically protects the solar system from itself, basically. Mm-hmm. And of course, this is 50s sci-fi, so like Venus is inhabited with its own people. Mars once had its own people but killed themselves. That kind of stuff. And it was all about having to deal with it, having to grow up, basically, become this paramilitary officer.
They made this into a movie, didn't they?
Well, basically, the premise has been used thousands of times since then. Okay. So if it sounds familiar, it's been used before. But this, no, you might be thinking Starship Troopers.
No, I don't actually know. I've never seen Starship Troopers.
The movie is not the book. Starship Troopers, the movie, is not Starship Troopers, the book. And you brought it up. I'm going to talk about it. Starship Troopers, the movie, is an excellent anti-fascist movie after you get over the dumbness of it. Starship Troopers, the book, is actually a book about how intelligent, thoughtful, and even sweet people can live in a fascist, horrible society. That is built around fighting a war against the unthinking creatures. But it's also credited with the creation of the idea of power armor. So basically, Iron Man and all that kind of stuff, any mecha, all that, all traces back to the novel Starship Troopers.
Well, you got two now. You had two.
Well, see, I was flipping between the two, and I decided to go with the less controversial choice, and ended up talking about both. Yes. So, yeah. So, okay, we'll count it as two. So you get two more.
Oh, God. I can hardly think of one.
This is your fault. This is your fault.
I'm trying to think. There were a few profound books, believe it or not, that I had to read for summer reading. And I'm trying to think of some of them. Like, I mean, there's like A Wrinkle in Time. I always loved that book. However, for some reason, I could never wrap my head around how a tesseract worked. They explain it in great detail, but I just could not understand how it worked.
A tesseract?
Yeah, a tesseract.
The 4D object.
Yeah, the space time jump. I couldn't get it.
You mean space folding, or the the object of a tesseract itself?
Both, all of the things. Like, I had a hard time processing that book. Maybe it was because I had to read it. Maybe it was junior high or high school, and I just wasn't there. All of the things about that book, I had a real hard time just getting through.
Mm-hmm. But you still liked it.
I did. I still liked it. It still sat with me. I have not seen the movie. I was hesitant, but it could be like another Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe, which was another one that I liked from those times. I loved what they did with the movie from the book. 'Cause usually the book is better. With the movie, they included every single last thing in that book because that book is so short.
And again, coming off as the condescending jerk, but I don't know. I think it may be because I didn't read The Lion, Witch in the Wardrobe when I was a kid.
I read it as an adult.
I read it as an adult. I found it very condescending, very talked down to you, kind of. And I couldn't finish it because of it. I felt very condescended to. And yeah, I couldn't get past the first couple of chapters because I was just like, okay, dude, I can't stand your attitude.
Okay. How so? Like, the author was talking down to you?
Yes. He felt the way that the everything was written it felt like the author was intentionally using small words.
It was a book written for children.
And it was talking down to the children.
Okay.
I apologize for my opinions. I won't bring them up.
You can have your opinion. No. I don't know. I'm trying to remember when this actually happens in the book. That's all. It's not that I just
the first two chapters felt very condescending.
Well, okay. The first two chapters are what was happening when they were in the middle of the Blitz and then being put on the train.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was supposed to sound that way because even in the next chapter and the chapter after that, until they get to Narnia, it's meant to feel that way.
Oh, okay. Well, it turned me off the book and I didn't finish it.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Maybe you might want to give it a try, knowing that it gets better. It's like any new anime or any new show. You gotta wait until you're in the 5th episode or / chapter to really get a feeling.
That is BS and bad writing. No, that's bad writing. I'm sorry, that is bad writing. If you can't get if you can't get people hooked within the first couple of chapters, it's a bad book.
Oh, okay. God forbid it has any good content after that, though.
Well, what I'm saying is the hook brings you back.
I don't think I've ever started a book and never finished it.
I've done it a couple of times, usually in bookstores.
Well, see, I don't. Well, that's the thing. I never go to bookstores. I used to go to bookstores because I thought it was the trendy thing to do, but I didn't know what to do when I got there.
I usually
I usually buy coffee and go find the comic books.
I used to go to bookstores like in between classes, and I'd pick up a book and I'd go over to the comfy chairs and I'd read a couple of pages and fall asleep.
Oh man, is that what bookstores are for? Homeless people?
Hey, I wasn't homeless.
No, but it
I
sounds
was
like
in
a great way.
college.
It sounds like a great way to get a good nap in.
That's probably why there's no more comfy chairs
Bookstore
in Barnes
chairs.
and Nobles anymore.
Oh, isn't there? I don't know. I can't say the last time I've been to Barnes and Nobles.
I did an escape from the kids a couple weeks ago, and yeah. Okay, so where were we?
The
So you
closest,
did.
the closest I've been to a bookstore in the last 10 years
Uh,
is going to Newberry Comics.
Hey, that's a bookstore. That shit's literature. Just because it has pictures on it doesn't mean it's not literature.
Hey,
So
graphic
what you're
novels
saying
rock.
here is maybe we shouldn't have started with books.
I don't know. I think I've done good so far. I've done when
Four.
I've done four. All I need
Yeah.
is one left, right?
Okay. Okay.
Of course, two of them were from my childhood.
Well, so I mean, my next one's Binocula.
Woohoo!
Binocula. One of my
Like
favorite books
Binoculars and Dracula.
No, it's like it is a book written. The author is a big old sheepdog whose best friend is a alley cat that was rescued by by the dog's family.
And a Clifford the Big Red Dog.
No. And their family, who he protects, adopts a bunny who happens to be a vampire who drains vegetables of its juices. And it's the adventures of this dog and this cat protecting the bunny, who is now part of the family.
Oh, wow. I think I need to read this book.
And it's a kid's story. And it's written by the dog and edited by the human who published it, the real author.
Huh.
And it is this sweet, absolute, awesome story about these people trying to get the bunny, a bunny just trying to be a vampire bunny, and the dog and his, he's his best friend. He's a cat, but don't hold him against it. Don't hold it against him. Chester, I believe the cat's name is. And it is just absolutely, when my kids finally settle down and I can read to them, it's the first thing I want to read to them is Binocula.
Nice.
And he gets called Binocula by the humans because they don't realize he's actually a vampire, because when he lays his ears back, it looks like he's wearing a cape.
Those are big ears. Oh, because he's a bunny.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's a bunny.
Nice bunny ear cape thing.
And it's called Binocula.
I'm going to have to pick that one up, I
And
think.
it is absolutely adorable. There's actually a series of like 7 books. It gets kind of weird after 5. Or maybe 3. But the first book is an absolute classic. Love it, love it, love it. Still read it, and I'm 30-something.
Cool. All right, so my last one. That was your last one.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm going to close on this. But like I said, I'm not a huge reader, but when I do get hooked on something, it's kind of like binging on Netflix. I gotta have it all right now. I started The Hunger Games. Don't hold your breath and grumble at me. I heard that over here in Rhode Island. I started The Hunger Games because my niece was very into the books and had not seen the movies. And I decided that I should probably read the books and take her to the last one that came out, which was cool. It was a neat experience because it gave me a chance to bond with my niece at the time.
Oh, that's good.
It was a very good time, but it had some interesting tones. I mean, yes, I know it's an overrated teenager, young reader book series, but I do believe that it had some interesting tones with current political state issues we're having today. And in some ways was sort of prophetic. So it's just, I love, I
You
mean,
know,
I'm not a conspiracy theorist. That's not the kind of person that I am. And I will shoot down conspiracy theories and walk away. But it's just, this put me in a perspective that I don't, I mean, because I'm not a very political person, it kind of puts you in a perspective where you're just kind of looking at things in a different way than you normally would have.
okay, well, there's that. And the funny thing is, I was thinking just as you were about to bring it up, it was like, I'm so proud of us. We didn't bring up any of the major series that haven't that's come
I
out
could have.
lately.
I mean, I
We didn't even bring up Lord of the Rings or
once
The
a year I binge
Hobbit
read the Harry Potter series.
or
Just
Harry Potter. That's the one I was actually pretty proud neither of us brought up.
hey, there is nothing wrong with enjoying popular series. It doesn't mean they're not good if they're popular. Isn't that why they're popular? Does it have to be everything that we like have to be
Well,
obscure?
so that's going to be episode 2. Um, no, Harry Potter's awesome. I got really big into a bunch of fantasy novels back when genre novels weren't the big thing.
Oh God, you were in it before it was cool. You sound like such a hipster. I
Well,
liked it
I'm going
before
to
it
be
was
getting
cool.
glasses here soon, and every pair of glasses looks like hipster crap on me. So,
I've worn glasses since I was 7, and I don't read. How does this work? Wait a minute. Are you supposed to get glasses because you read too much and it makes your eyes like get tired or
well, my
something?
my LASIK's failing
Oh, I
after
never.
10 years.
Oh, yeah. That's why I'm never gonna get it.
Well, they told me it was gonna. Actually, let's see. I got it when I was um an age, and now it's been longer than 10 years from that age, and
Well, you've stated your age in the intro, so people can pretty much
30 something. I
guess.
said 30 something.
I mean, that means you were 20 something or potentially in your late teens.
So there you go. For you mathematicians out there,
Oh God, yes, because I'm such a mathematician.
there are other people out there, okay? Someday someone might listen to this.
I sure hope so. Hey guys, hey new listener, I'm
Hey,
talking to you. Thank you for joining us.
yeah. So, okay. All right. So that's something we just did.
Yeah, we did a thing. Hey thing,
I think
you have been
we're gonna.
created. I am your creator. Oh wait, co-creator. I'm sorry. Hi.
Well,
Hi,
yeah,
new
nah,
manifest.
guys, we're just there for the first 30 seconds.
That's not true. We don't believe that. It's okay. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you listening. Absolutely. Make sure that you check out our Twitter and Facebook feeds on the board with Chris and Foxy. Also, make sure to tweet about us and hit us up in Facebook. #GetOnTheBoard. Get the word out there about your friends Chris and Foxy and their weird takes on books and other
Media
different
content.
mediums.
And remember, guys, it's you guys that gets us out there.
Yes, so you are the one that helps us get there. So we really appreciate every one of you, and I look forward to seeing that first
So
hashtag.
if we get famous, it'll be you guys' fault.
And we will make sure anybody, if you tweet or Facebook on us with that hashtag, we will make sure to mention your name on the show. So please make sure that you get the word out. There we go. So thank you for joining us. We will catch you on the
On
next
that flip
show.
side.
On that flip side. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Now we're recording.
Welcome to Line
Welcome to the board with Chris and
On
Foxy.
the board. On the board.
Is it on the board? No, it's the
Yeah, it's on the board.
No, it's the board.
No, it's on the board.
I'm
Fine,
so
it's on the board. Ugh.
You just pulled a Bugs Bunny on me, and I am not falling for that shit.
Duck season.
Wabbit season.
But here's the thing. I identify more with Daffy.
I love Daffy. Plucky Duck was my favorite. See, we're doing it now. We're doing the thing. This is the thing that we do.
Yes, I know. Plucky. Well, see, the ball goes down the hole.
It goes down the hole.
Mm,
To come back. Hey, everybody. This is On the Board with Chris and Foxy.
You see, now you're doing it now. You said on.
I know it's going to be on.
Welcome to On the Board with Chris and Foxy. You're polluting, excuse me, ma'am, you're polluting the audio.
Because a hashtag, I had to register it as Get On the Board. Same thing as the Gmail account. But before that, I'd already made the Facebook and Twitter pages. I'm sure I can change them. Okay? I'll change it to On the Board, and that's going to be our official title. Because I was trying to avoid all aboard or something like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We're not nautical.
We're not nautical. Nautical. What did you say? Did you say nautical?
Nautical.
Nautical. Like naughty.
Nautical.
Nautical. Nautical. Now I feel like Peanut.
How would you say it?
Jeffa?
How would you say it then?
You say it like it's spelled. N-A-U. Nautical.
I said nautical.
You're saying nautical. You sound like a Rhode Islander, and I don't. How does that make sense?
Can we get to the intro, please?
Yes, let's get to the intro.